You know, when done right, the Olympic marathon is probably the best race of each successive Olympics. Now, as a kid, the 1976 Olympics in Montreal created a sensation across the nation about road running, short course, long course, all kind of distances. We saw that in the 1980s and 90s throughout the Maritimes, Central Canada, Western Canada, in New Brunswick, road racing New Brunswick and Run New Brunswick. 10Ks were a weekend tradition from April to the fall. Marathons in Charlotte, Frankton, St. John, people from New Brunswick going to Boston, going into internationally. And it all comes down to this. It all started with the impact of the 1976 Olympic road race. Now, if anybody's walked the streets of Montreal, they're beautiful. There's aspects of the old city, the new city that have drawn fans and tourists from throughout the world for decades. To have it in Montreal as part of the Olympics, I think the big draw of the Olympics that year was the marathon. It was the last day of full competition in track and field as well. It had a marquee TV audience because of the start time was late in the evening, which benefited all the runners. Now, this marathon was held on July 31st, 1976. The race started at 5:30 local time, which made it 6:30 in the Maritimes, and around supper hour across the United States and Canada, and the morning internationally in many countries. There were 67 competitors from 36 countries. Seven of them did not finish, but the 60 who did were the cream of the crop of the 60s, 70s, and 80s marathon generation. Now, the maximum number of athletes per nation had been set at 3 since the 1930 Olympic Congress. The event was won by a relative unknown, Vladimir Sierpinski of East Germany, the first Olympic marathon medal by any German runner. Now, defending champion Frank Shorter of the States finished second, and Karel Lisbon of Belgium became the third and fourth men to win the second medal of the event, as Lisbon was silver in Munich, while Shorter won the race despite a faker finishing the course before he did. Now, Ethiopia's 4 games marathon medal streak ended as the nation boycotted the games, and all the great athletes from that country weren't entered, which was a tragedy because it would have been faster. Now, this was the 18th appearance of the event, which is one of 12 athletics events to be held at every Summer Olympics. Now, returning runners for the 72 marathon included defending champion Frank Shorter, Lisbon, and 8th place finisher Jack Foster of New Zealand. Shorter had also won 4 consecutive Fukuoka marathons from 71 through 74, and it was favored in a race. Significant contenders including his countryman Bill Rogers, the legendary 1975 Boston Marathon winner, the ever-classy Jerome Drayton of Canada, who won Fukuoka in 75, and Akio Uzumi, who was 1968 and 12 and 72, and Shiguro So of Japan. Now, the international superstar runner Lassie Viren, who had just finished defending the double in the 5,000 and 10,000 meters, was entered the race, but he had never run a marathon before, but entered the event hoping to match Emil Zatopek's 1952 triple, which probably is the greatest sporting achievement in Olympic history. Now, Bermuda, Honduras, Papua New Guinea, and Paraguay each made their first appearance in Olympic marathons. The United States made its 18th appearance, the only nation to have competed in each Olympic marathon to that point. As all Olympic marathons, the competition was a single race. The distance of a little over 42 kilometers or 26 miles, 385 yards, was run over an out-and-back route, which is the more commonplace now than it was back then. But and the National Film Board, with the participation of CBC, did a documentary on the race. You can find on YouTube, where the English Sierpinski narration by a translator is part of it. It's quite interesting anyway. At the time, now, Derek Clayton of Australia had the world record set 7 years before in Antwerp with 2:08:33.6. The Olympic record, of course, was held by Abibi Bikila, who ran 2:12:11.2 in Tokyo in October 21st, 64. Now, Sierpinski won the event with a new Olympic best, breaking 2 minutes 2 hours 10 minutes with 2:09:55. Now, it rained throughout the race, which gave the event a very dramatic feel. Now, the big turning point was Sierpinski and Shorter had run a piece of the course where there was no videotape of it. Sierpinski and Shorter went in, and when they came out, Sierpinski put a little bit of speed and went ahead for good. Shorter finished the event 2:10:45, just 50 seconds behind. Lismont was about a half minute behind Shorter, 2:11:12. But Don Cardong, the unheralded runner from the States, finished 3 seconds behind Lismont. Lassie finished around 2 minutes behind him, 2:13:10, with Drayton 6th place for Canada, and with 2:13:30. Now, the big one for me was when I watched the whole race. Savant Singh of India, beautiful result, just missed out of the top 10 with a very impressive 2:16:22. What really impressed me here is because there was two Soviet runners were basically trying to get away from him in the race. There were what they call team racing, and he was kind of paced by them. They were team racing, and he kept pretty well nearby. For him to finish top 20 was a great moment in Indian track and field. Now, Foster finished 17th with 2:17:53, and of course Mexico has always done well in the marathon. Mario Cuevas finished 2:18:08, followed by teammate Rodolfo Gomez with a 2:18:21. Now, the big finishers was actually the guy who finished in 60th place, finished in a 2:45:31. Lucia Gushala of Bolivia. Now the DNFs included two athletes from Australia, one from Colombia, one from Spain, one from Haiti, one from Italy, one from New Zealand, and unfortunately there was 4 did not starts, including the legendary future champion Carlos Lopez of Portugal, one of the best runners ever in Portuguese history, and Gaston Ralaz of Belgium. So again, the official report is online. There's the full documentary and the full video. And again, if you look at the 1980 results, Sierpinski defended, of course, with almost 4 years to the day, with a 2:11:03. 84. Again, Carlos Lopez finally won in probably one of the biggest, an Olympic record ahead of John Tracy of Ireland. That was a battle, ladies and gentlemen. And 88, of course, the great Gelindo Bourdin, and Djibouti really came across here with a bronze. But, it's amazing you look back and then you're looking at the marathon in 2021. Similar times because of conditions, but I still think the cool rain of Montreal, and visually it was stunning because there was a lot of stories going on at the time. You had Boston Marathon winners, you had future world champions, future Olympic champions, some of the late 60s, mid 1970s runners that never hit that level again. But Sierpinski said in published reports, he said it was probably the greatest demonstration of sport that the world has ever seen. And I tend to agree. When I watched that, it was exciting. The announcers from all the countries were emboldened by the quality of the running. But Sierpinski, he just ran Shorter in the ground. He was consistent. Shorter would try to burn his opponents in the ground, and Sierpinski used that tactic. Because Shorter would go fast and burn everybody else and try to chase him. But Bill Rogers, I think around the 13-mile mark, he was injured. And that's a bigger regret because what Rogers did for track and field, very charismatic guy. But again, Carlos Lopez, Jerome Drayton, Lismont, Lassie Viren, just tremendous. And like the superstar, it's like an all-star game with Mary Lemieux and Gretzky, Guy Lafleur, Perreault, which we've seen before. So it was an all-star marathon race. Again, I can't say it enough. If you find a 32-minute documentary, or if you can find a full recap, like the full race, it's amazing. And when they were coming in with the full crowd at Olympic Stadium, just waiting for Drayton to finish in the medals, and it was kind of sad but happy at the same time when he crossed. Sad he didn't win a medal, but Jerome again What a story. Check out my podcast on Jerome Drayton as well. So if you like what we're doing here with our Olympic Vintage podcast, let us know. We're going to wrap up the next couple of days. We'll just do a recap of the 2020 games. One of the best in Canadian history. Only 84 was better, the boycotted games. Let me know what to like, comment, or subscribe. And don't forget, my old friend Alan Caron from Charlotte, New Brunswick, to be a marathoner, you need to run a marathon, one step at a time. Have a good day. Bye.